As you can tell, I recruited some friends to join us this morning. Well, we've been hearing call stories of different folks from the Bible, and today we're going to hear about the call of Daniel, who was a faithful follower of God. Now, even though Daniel wasn't from Babylon, he grew up in that town. And as he grew up, the king noticed him. And when he became an adult, the king gave him a really important job, like the biggest job you could have in the land. Or he wanted to give him that job. But there were some people who thought Daniel shouldn't have that job. They were jealous. But Daniel had done such a really great job at all of the things he'd been asked to do. They had a hard time coming up with a good reason for the king not to hire him. So they decided to come up with a plan to get rid of Daniel. So they went to the king and they said, some people aren't very loyal to you. They don't pray to you. They pray to their God, or maybe even to other people. I think they should just pray to you. So why don't you make a new law, write a new rule that says, for the next 30 days, everyone has to pray to only you, King Darius. And if they pray to God, then you throw them in the lion's den. What do you think the king said? He said, okay, that's crazy. So he put a new law into place that if you don't pray to the king, you will get thrown to the lion's den. What happens if you get thrown in a lion's den? Well, you don't make it out because the lions take care of that. So these people knew that Daniel loved God, and they knew that Daniel was going to pray to his God. Daniel had a spiritual practice of praying 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. And he got caught praying. So the king was forced, even though he loved Daniel and thought he was a really great guy, he had to follow his rule and throw him into the lion's den. But Daniel, he kept praying. And so I have some questions about these prayers that Daniel prayed. I wonder if he prayed for his own protection, for God to keep him safe. And I wonder if he prayed for those people who caught him and wanted him dead. I wonder if he prayed for their forgiveness. And I wonder if he prayed for the king who was fooled by those people. I wonder if he prayed for the king to have wisdom to see through their scheme. And I wonder what you would have prayed if you had been in Daniel's shoes. Now, you're going to have to stay tuned later this service to hear the rest of the story. I'm going to take y'all with me, and we're going to hear the rest of the story. But if you were not raised on Veggie Tales like my children were, I strongly encourage you to go home and look up Veggie Tales on YouTube and watch 12 minutes of delight as you hear the story of Daniel and his faithfulness. Let's close our time together with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for loving us.
Thank you for loving us.
And for people like Daniel.
And for people like Daniel.
Who love you. And worship you. Even when it's not the easy thing to do. And all of God's children say, Amen.